Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm a little bit early, which is totally cool because then you can all get in and say hello. How's everyone doing tonight? Good evening, good evening. Hello, hello. I see Miss Penny's here. Hi, Penny. Hello, Karen. Hello, Nancy. So excited to see you this evening. Hello from St. Louis. Yay. Hello, Shirley. How's everyone doing this evening? Let me just flip this around a little bit. Okay, so tonight we have super fun project for you and an amazing bundle. So the regular price on tonight's bundle is $111 and some change, and it's on sale for $40. And the big thing is that there are 3 die sets in this bundle, 3 die sets, which that's huge. Like right there, you've gotten your money's worth from your bundle. And then we have all these other goodies too. So let's start with the paper. We have the Rainbow Revival 6x6 paper pad. Hello, Deborah from Australia. That is so cool. I'm so excited to have you here. Hello, Shalana. I'm super excited that you're here too, and you'll see why in a second. Hello, honey. Hello, Jamie. Hello from Georgia, Joe. Hello, Nikki. So excited that you were scrapbooking tonight. Okay, so paper. In tonight's bundle, we have Rainbow Revival. We have my absolute favorite color, pink cardstock in the history of ever, the Rouge. We have a pack of Not Your Mama's cardstock, and we have the color Cabbage, which is my favorite, Brutus Monroe green. So 4 packs of paper in tonight's bundle, 3 die sets. So we have the Smile die, which cuts out all these cute little sequins, and we're going to play with those. We have the Bottled Blooms cutting die, which is a really big die set, lots of layers, lots of little elements. And then the Lacy Layers die, which I adore this die to the moon and back. It's so, 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 so good. We're going to have so much fun with it tonight. So there is all the dies you get in that one. Card bases, a stencil, and then we also have Chroma Glaze in gold and the Creative Confections in strawberry. I talked about these a couple weeks ago. I said I had to use them get them in a bundle because I wanted to show you guys how to use them. We talked about them and how they're kind of different than some of the other pastes and mediums. So we get to do that. Now, the fun part about tonight's project is it is inspired by a card from Shalana, who's here tonight. So yay. So I was inspired for tonight's project and for my card project and putting the bundle together by this card from Shalana. Isn't that gorgeous? It's beautiful. It's elegant. It's just stunning. We are going to create something that is more colorful, a little bit more colorful. It's like my own little twist on this card design. But there is the original. Yes, Shalana says, wow, that's a steal of a deal. It totally is, right? Like just these dies would be $40. And then you get all this other stuff included in the bundle. Like it's huge. So super duper excited for that. Always do the messy stuff first. So let's start there. So we're going to start with a piece of our Not Your Mama's cardstock. And this is trimmed down. It's 3 3 3/4 by 5, I believe, is what it is. Yep, just checking. Okay, so this is a panel of the Not Your Mama's cardstock. It is trimmed down to 3 3/4 by 5. You are so welcome, Shalana. I love this. I love that card. Like when I was going through to pick the one I wanted to be inspired by, it was that one 1000%. It's so pretty. So this is an oval simple blend stencil. This is part of the bundle, and it is, I love the simple blend stencils. They were some of my absolute favorite stencils before I was part of the design team. I had already purchased them all, and I absolutely love them. They're so, so, so good. So what I'm doing is I'm going to kind of take this oval and I'm going to put it almost to the top of this panel. So this is the Not Your Mama's cardstock. It's 3 3/4 by 5. I'm going to place this stencil so that it's close to the top of that card. Then we're just going to grab some repositionable adhesive and pop it into place. Hold it steady. So, Creative Confections. What is it and how is it different from the other lovely products that we're just around? So, Creative Confections is different in a couple of ways, but the biggest way is that it is super chunky. So in this paste, we have big chunks of sequins and glitter, and it's like super chunky. That's the best way I can think of to describe it. Hi, Sean. So glad you're here. So you can kind of see here, it's super chunky. It also comes in these smaller bottles. So you know how I'm always like, use up your stuff, just blop it on there. No worries. The bigger, the more the merrier. I say that quite often. These are in teeny tiny little bottles. So we're actually going to be a little more careful with this one tonight because you want to be able to use it a couple of times. And it is super chunky, but it is definitely in a smaller container. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to kind of pull this down. You have to be a little more careful with the Creative Confections. You kind of need to go ahead and just take your time when you're putting these through a stencil. A note on stencils. Because of how big and chunky this particular medium is, you need a big chunky stencil. So the simple blends with all the color, with all the shapes, there's a circle, there's an oval, and there's a square. Perfect for this. Nice, big open areas. They also, I think when they released all the new colors of the Creative Confections, they also released a whole bunch of previously retired like chunky stencils. Those are the ones you want. You want stencils that have big, big open areas, because in order for this to look its best and for you to really get the idea of how it works and all the texture you get with it, you really need like a nice big open area. So I'm just being very careful. And I'm also going to go over the edges, which you guys, you never see me do this, right? And I'm going to scrape off as much as I can because, again, these jars are on the small side. And I want to be able to use and get as many projects as possible out of a jar of Creative Confections. So I'm just making sure I don't have any big white open areas for the most part. Get ready with the magic words, Penny. All right. So in my jar, I'm going to tell you, just to give you an idea of how many projects you can get out of a jar. I've used about half a jar, and I have about half a jar left. And this will be my third background doing this. So that should give you an idea of how many projects or panels you can get out of a jar of Creative Confections. So I have my stencil tray over here. I'm just going to drop it right into that lovely goodness. And now we've done this with Chroma Mist. We've done it with the Chroma Glaze. Here's what it looks like wet. And then, by the magic of television, here's what it looks like dry. See the difference? See how like not sparkly it is when it's wet, but how crazy sparkly it is when it's dry. And that is why it's amazing and awesome. And that is why you want all the Creative Confections. Misty says the Creative Confections are awesome. Love. Agreed, Misty. Agreed. Creative Confections are the best. So here's kind of a close-up as to how it looks when it's all dry. It's like so gorgeous. I love it. So it takes a little bit to dry. And as I said, they do come in, I mean, here's a Chroma Glaze bottle and here's a Creative Confections bottle. So it is a bit smaller. You can be very stingy or very, not stingy. You can be, have a light hand so you get the most, as many panels as you can out of that. But it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to set that aside. Yeah. Right, honey? Exactly. Aurora, right? It's so pretty. It's so sparkly and it's so good. All right, next beautiful thing we're going to make today. We have the gold Chroma Glaze, which is in our bundle as well. I think I've used this before, but usually I put it into a stencil, right? So I just have a very small panel of the Not Your Mama's cardstock. And I am going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take the gold Chroma Glaze and we are going to go ahead and, now I'm going to hold this just with the pads of my fingers. And I'm also, this is how I do it. I'm just putting my finger right here. And I'm going to take this and I'm just going to smooth this gold Chroma Glaze right over this panel. This panel does not have to be very big. Something around like a 3x4 will be perfect. Just get a nice layer onto that cardstock and then let it dry completely. And you want some thick and some thin, but you want the entire piece of the paper. It's like frosting a cake. Just pretend you're frosting that cake. There we go. So we're just going to frost our little cake. And this will take some time to dry, and there's no wrong way to do this, none at all. Just nice, smooth, even strokes. Get your Chroma Glaze all over your paper. And then set this aside until it has dried thoroughly. And when it dries thoroughly, it's going to look something like this. Again, completely different. So by the magic of TV, we have some already. Oop. Done. So you kind of see that. Let me get the light. Let's see if I can get the light to catch it. Because see how like it's so pretty. So we're going to take this aside, the wet one. Let this over here so it can dry completely. quickly wipe up my glass mat here. And then with this panel, we are going to die cut the beautiful sequins out of the smile die. So there's 3 sizes of sequins. I cut them all, and then I put them into one of the empty embossing jars from the shop. So I can show them all to you. Just going to flip them over so you can really get a good look at them. And you know what we now have? We've just made our own shaker flow. So now we have gold little sequin shakers because we're going to make a shaker tonight. So that's pretty cool. All right. We're going to do a little bit more, and I do have my lovely trusty die cut machine here. So we're going to do a little bit of die cutting, but I've done quite a bit of the die cutting ahead of time. So let me just get all of those pieces out of here. Yes. Honey says, oh, wow, so shimmery. Indeed. Shimmery, extremely shimmery, and fun and easy. You can make as many of these as you want. You could fill the whole embossing powder jar with these little sequins. You can add them you can do shakers, you can do embellishments. There's 3 different sizes. Yes. Yep. She said, or he said, good idea on storing small die cuts. Thanks. Yes, this is a really good way to store small die cuts. These are available over at Brutus Monroe. They're just the little embossing powder jars. Okay, so for my card project today, here are the colors that I chose from the Rainbow Revival paper pad. So I have the lovely layers die. This is the largest rectangle, and I cut it from this kind of corally pink color. And that's why I said this is 3. If you were wondering why it was 3 3/4 by 5, it's because 3 3/4 by 5 was going to fit perfectly inside of the lovely layers rectangle. So that is the reason for that. So this is the largest rectangle. We're going to use that again. And then from the bottled blooms die, I cut the jar twice. I cut a white piece of Not Your Mama's from the lid of the jar. And then I cut a whole bunch of the leaves and flowers from the bottled blooms die. So for tonight's shaker, you have an option. You can use acetate for your shaker, or you can use vellum. I'm using acetate for the shaker tonight, but I have an example that uses vellum. So either or that you have hanging around your scrapbook room will work for this project. And I believe there is acetate in stock in the shop, but not the vellum. I believe the vellum is sold out. But either way, if you have vellum or if you have acetate, either one of these will work. Okay, so I'm going to take my second bottle die, and I'm going to take the smallest lacy layers, and that's how we're going to make our little shaker window tonight. So fun fact, the lacy layers, not only does it cut like the positive piece, right? So this is the positive piece. It cuts all the different rectangles with the edges on them. It also, the negative piece has this really fun kind of scallopy design, so you can use it either way. We're going to use it both ways tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to center this the very best I can. And we might have to, so I think my little engine that could die cut machine up here will cut through this without a problem. When I was doing the Not Your Mama's, I had to get out Big Betsy, my Big Betsy die cutter. I couldn't do it. Couldn't cut through the Not Your Mama's with this little one, but I think that we should be okay to do it with this one. This is a bit of a thinner paper. Ta-da! So I'm going to do this super carefully because I want both of them. I want the negative and the positive. So you can see there how you can do it either way. Just going to pop the little bits and pieces out of here because we're going to use this part too. So isn't that neat? This is the die set that keeps on giving, this Lacy Layers. And if you happen to go over the website and you're poking around, take a peek at this month's die of the month. I'm so excited. Cannot wait to get that in the mail. Okay, so we might have to push some of these out, but we're going to set this aside for now because we don't need that. So we have our bottom, our top. Now it's time to go ahead and do the inside. So we're going to take our little bottle that has the window cut in it, and we're going to line the acetate underneath it. And we're just going to do that with some wet glue all the way around the edges. Line that right up. Give it a minute. Take a beat or two, and I will check the comments. And there are none. And then we're going to need our foam tape. So whatever foam tape is your favorite that you like. I'm going to use the Easy Strips from Brutus Monroe, but I don't think they're back in stock yet. So thoughts on where we are going to put the foam tape. We are going to put it right as close to that little beveled edge as we can, because I don't want to put it on the outside edge. If I put the foam tape on the outside edge of the bottle, I'm afraid that the sequins, our homemade beautiful gold sequins, are going to end up going up here and over here and down here and getting lost. And we don't want that. So I'm going to take these strips and I'm just going to create a couple of little strips, cut them. And these are going to cut without a problem because they have this lovely backing paper on both sides. I cannot say enough good things about these Easy Strip foam tapes. Like I can't. This is, if you're ever over at Brutus Monroe and these are in stock, grab them. It's so good and such a good deal. Yeah, Misty said, nope, they're not in stock. I looked today. Yeah, I didn't think that they were, but as soon as you see them in stock, just grab it. Just get some. You will not be disappointed. And then you can come and tell me thank you, because it's like the best foam tape ever. So I'm just going to go to the outside edge of that rectangle. And I'm making sure that my corners are completely closed. Now these aren't, I mean, we're going to use these little sequin papers, these little paper sequins for our shaker insides. So they are a little bit bigger than maybe like if you've ever done shakers and you have those teeny tiny seed beads and things like that. It's not like that. They're a little bit chunkier than that, but you still don't want them falling out of your shaker. F. Joe Clemens asks, what tape strips are these? These are from Brutus Monroe. They're the Easy Strips. They're out of stock right now. And you can hit that, like, I think that you can hit the notify button. I'm almost positive. Okay, so there is our shaker well done and ready to go. Hi, Heather. Yay, Heather's here. I love when Heather comes. She's amazing. Okay, so here's our gorgeous sequins. Look how pretty they are. Now, if you are using a vellum shaker, it doesn't matter how these are. They can be upside down, backwards. It doesn't matter. But when you're using acetate, you do want to see the shiny, sparkly, gorgeous side of the little sequins, right? Of course you do. So I'm going to lay down all of the sequins that I want, our little homemade sequins. I'm going to lay all the ones I want down on my glass mat, and I'm going to lay them upside down. So the shiny piece will be facing outside of, facing the right side of the shaker. Hope that makes sense. If not, you'll see. And they might, as you shake them, they might flip around a little bit, the smaller ones, but these big ones, they're too big to flip around. They're going to stay the right way. And if they do, the other side just looks white. I mean, it doesn't look like awful or anything. If you were really fancy, before you die cut them, you could, that first panel that we put the gold chroma glaze on, when it's completely dry, you could flip it over, put the gold chroma glaze on the back side, and then die cut them. I mean, if you were really wanting to do that. Another thing is, when you die cut these, make 1,000% sure your chroma glaze is completely, totally, and utterly dry. I would say, like, make sure it's dry, but then give it overnight or something, because I did some of these I did when the chroma glaze was dry, what I would consider dry, and it kind of stuck to the dies. They die cut okay, totally fine, but like I had to use my little stabby tool and like get them out of the die. Whereas the ones that were like older that I left sit for a while, those die cut much more cleanly, came right out of the die, fell out right away. So just know that that's an option that could happen. Okay, so I put quite a few of those die cut sequins in there. Oh, thank you so much, Susan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So then I'm just going to be really careful, and I'm going to use the tip of my scissors, and I'm going to try not to disturb my little sequins. Going to try. The name of the game is slow and steady. Try not to disturb the little sequins. Okay. Ta-da! We did it. All right. And we're going to line this up. And there we go. Look at that. So you can see all those gorgeous sequins. They're moving around good. They're even making that little shaker noise, just like the plastic ones. But we made them from our die, and we can make hundreds and hundreds of them if we want. And they turned out beautiful. What I really love is how when you do these with the chroma glaze, the texture and the interest, the way the light catches them is completely different than a regular like sequin. Like they look really, the best word I can describe is the best word I can think to describe it is they look textured. Okay, so there is our cute little bloom. So here's what our card is going to be looking like so far. And then we'll put the blossom, the bottle at the bottom. We have this. I'm not going to adhere the top to the bottle yet because we're going to add some of the little flowers to the top. So there. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to work with this little piece, and we're going to get our sentiment on here. Take my little stabby tool and just punch out all the little detail pieces here. I agree, Shalana. Like, I agree 1,000%. Shalana says, I love making the paper sequins. They're the best die set ever. I agree. They are the best die set ever. You are not kidding at all. You can make them in any color. And the sky's the limit because now you've seen me do it with the chroma glaze. So any color chroma glaze, that's how you do it. And you could do any color inside of your shaker. You could do any color, which is so cool. I love that. Completely customizable. Thank you, Aurora. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is that die piece. So we used the negative part for our shaker. And then we have the positive part, which I'm going to go ahead and pop in here. And then actually what I'm going to do is, give me a second. I'm going to pull out my magical stick and stamp mat because indeed it's magical. Now I do have my little blending buddy on it, so we have to pull that off. Okay. Because I want to make sure that I get this sentiment exactly where I want it. I don't want anything to shift on me. I don't want anything to move. All right. And then for a sentiment, I have one of my favorite stamp sets, which is this one. It is called Sharon's Script. It is not part of the bundle tonight, but you can pick it up in the shop. It's my favorite. I love it. It's the best stamp set. It has just about every sentiment a person could ask for, and it's all in this gorgeous, super elegant, like really pretty font. I love it. No. Have you ever die cut the sequin sheets? No, I haven't. I mean, I don't, you probably, if that's a material that you can normally die cut, I don't see why you couldn't. But I personally never have. Thank you. There is the link to the Sharon's Script stamp set. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this little high. Yes, this font is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Penny. There you go. There's the answer to your question. You can die cut the sequin sheets. They have done it in a Brutus Monroe class. Fabulous. This is why we love Penny. Penny's my favorite. Okay. So there is our sentiment. Just going to let that get nice and dry. Stick and stamp mat. Out you come. Put my little blending buddy back on it, because if I keep a blending buddy on my stick and stamp mat, the dog hair doesn't stick to it. All right. That's a little trick for you. So then we can put so this is our sentiment, and you're getting an entire pack of paper. So if you didn't like the look of the tone on tone, you could do any color in the Rainbow Revival. Any color in the Rainbow Revival paper pad. And you could do multiple different colors. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this off. There we go. Okay, time to put this all together. So I chose 3 of the little flowers that I liked, and I cut a ton of leaves, probably more than I'm going to need. In fact, I know these are more than I'm going to need. So these are from the bottled blooms. I did not cut the stems because we're going to do something different. But okay, so here are all of our little leaves, and then I cut one butterfly from Rouge and one little dragonfly from Cabbage. So I'm going to start with my little bottle, which is adorable. I'm just putting glue down the center, just down the center, because I am going to go ahead and we're going to do a lot of tucking in. So I'm just going to give this a push down. Okay, there we go. Just for a minute. I just want to make sure that the glue is touching the Creative Confections and it's all sticking, because this was kind of what I was afraid of. Not enough glue. You've got to really glue this so that it really sticks to all of the glitter and all of the sequins that are on the Creative Confections. It needs extra glue. Don't be stingy with the glue. So now I'm just going to pop it down here towards the bottom. And that's why when we did this, we put that oval piece more towards the top. So that should be good. And then we can go ahead and put this little guy up here, right up on the edge. Hold the phone 1 second. Let me grab the other card. I want to make sure I'm doing this correctly, or close to correctly. There's no like correct, but you know what I mean. So we're going to come in here and get a little butterfly. And he's going to come off the edge ever so slightly, which is totally fine, because remember, we still have this layer behind us. Okay. So for the top, I'm going to start with three of these flowers, and I'm going to put them right on top of the bottle. The reason I'm doing this is because remember, we still have this piece, right? So I want all these little buds to be right out the top of the bottle. So I'm going to start by putting the 3 across the middle, and I'm going to sit that right where the lip piece will go. And then I can tuck in another couple behind it. And you'll notice also I'm just putting glue on the way bottom, because we're going to add leaves too. And I want to make sure that I have space to tuck the little leaves underneath as well. So we're going to have these little layers of flowers. Slip that in there. There we go. Then we have our leaves, and we're going to snip them all in half. Hold on a second. Stabby tool to the rescue. Make sure we get these down in place. So as you can see, getting things to stick on top of the Creative Confections can be a little bit dicey. You need a lot of glue, a lot of wet glue, and a good amount of pressure. And then you're good. So we're just going to do this nice and slow so that everything adheres down well. I'm going to stick it. You didn't know stabby tools were so useful, did you? Have layers of flowers? Stabby tool can help. So you can put as many or as few of these under here as you want. You can have them kind of overlapping. You can have just a couple. Totally, completely up to you. There is no wrong way to place these flowers or these leaves. No wrong way at all. And then when we add the bottle top, it's just going to look like those flowers are just peeking out of the top of the bottle. There you go. And then we have a couple more flowers. So we can put them, do two on each side with some more greenery. And now we're out of the part where we're on top of the Creative Confections. So just a little bit of glue will work. And we can tuck little clusters of the flowers and the leaves right underneath this cute little bottle. And again, there's no wrong way. I have another one here I'm going to show you. And the flowers are in completely different spots from this one on the sides. So there is no right way or wrong way to add these flowers. So how fun is this? Does anyone have any questions about the creative confections we have used tonight? Because I know that's a new product. We haven't had one in a bundle before. We haven't talked about them on any of my lives. So does anybody have any questions? I've worked with this quite a bit. So I do, if you have a question, go for it. Oh, sequin sheets are, so before, I think Heather answered, they're the base of what companies use to cut sequins. So when you buy sequins from a company, they've punched them out using sequin sheets. So someone asked if you could use these dies and then cut the sequin sheets with the dies. Okay. So extras. We didn't use sequin sheets for our sequins tonight. We used just paper that we had put the mixed media on. Okay. I hope that answers your question. All right. So we'll go ahead and put this down. And then if you wanted to, you could add some white highlights with a white gel pen. I have another example here to show you, same card, just a little bit different. And on that one, I added the white detail, but you, of course, wouldn't have to. That would be up to you. Would you like me to show you putting the white detail on to this card as well? I don't mind doing it for the live. It only takes a minute or two. But I am going to show you a one that already has it done, so you'll be able to see the difference. And then my favorite card bases ever, which are part of the bundle tonight. This is the bundle that just keeps giving. It is such a phenomenal deal. Thank you so much, Karen. Okay. So like I said at the beginning, the only thing you would need from your stash to complete this card would be either acetate or vellum. So we made an acetate card live tonight. If you wanted to do a vellum, this is what the vellum looks like. So you don't see the sequins as clearly. They look kind of frosted. So then it doesn't matter if some of them get flipped upside down and some of them are white and some of them are gold, because you're not going to see, you'll see that it's a shaker and you can see that there are the shapes in there and you can hear them move around. You know they're there. But unlike the fully clear, where you're going to be able to really see that gold chroma glaze, for this one, it doesn't matter whether they're right side up or down. Whereas see if I can get these moving a little bit. There we go. Whereas these with the acetate, like you can really see that chroma glaze. So 2 ways to go about creating the card for tonight. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Joe. I hope that helped you. And then here's what it looks like with a white gel pen of your choosing, and then just plain. Both beautiful and ready for spring. Does anybody have any questions for me tonight? If not, thank you so much, Sean. Thank you for staying till the end. That was amazing. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. If you are interested in this bundle, be sure to grab it. I cannot stress enough, the regular price for all the products is $111 and it's on sale for $40. And the bundle includes 3 die sets. So tons of great product. What do you think, Shalana? Did I do your card justice? I hope so. Thank you, Misty. You guys all have a fabulous night. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I will see you again next week. Bye, everyone. Oh, before I end the stream, huge thank you to Penny and Heather for all of your help. I always love having one of you girls in the chat with me. You're amazing. All right. Bye, everyone.